Let's see. Tonight is Aaron Grau, and Aaron Grau is the president of Grau and Associates, in a Pittsburgh-based association development and management company. Let me put this over here. The Association of Professional Pipeline Surveyors, APPS, is one of G&A's most exciting and successful clients. G&A has worked with APPS since the association's inception in September of 2016. Today, APPS is a strong membership-driven organization providing continuing education and training for surveyors across the country, which is kind of what we're going to highlight tonight. And let somebody in. And the other person on here is Wayne Burnett. And Wayne is actually the founder and president of APPS and brings over 40 years of pipeline surveying management to tonight's presentation. His firm is based out of Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Going to go over a few Federal Energy Regulatory Commission certification process. Let me let this one in. And also on the Hazardous Materials Safety Administration stuff. And so I appreciate both of your guys' time jumping on tonight. And Aaron was going to kind of start, just kind of go over a brief overview of how APPS started and kind of what it offers, and then Aaron will lead up on kind of the training side of it. So I appreciate it, guys.
No, yeah, we appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
Definitely best that Wayne handles the technical stuff. I'm not a surveyor, and I once thought I wanted to be, and Wayne patted me on the back. He said, "Aaron, it's a young man's job. It's not for you." And I always thought I was a young man, but I guess not for surveying. But in 2016, maybe August 2016, I was approached in my capacity as an association manager and developer by a handful of pipeline surveyors. Some of them, worked for some pretty big companies, at least out east, and a handful of pipeline owner operators. And they both had identified the same workforce development issue within the pipeline industry. And that was that surveyors who were on the right of way doing pipeline work were all too often very good at surveying, boundary surveys, but they lacked an inherent understanding of the intricacies and unique aspects of pipeline survey. Everything from cultural aspects, such as, being on someone's piece of property to survey a right of way when you were not invited on that property. They don't want you on that property, but that property has to be surveyed. To safety issues, everything from machetes to snakes, to things like hot taps, which are incredibly dangerous, and surveyors have no business being anywhere near them. The gist of it all was that there was a need to educate surveyors not how to survey, but how to survey on a pipeline and how to survey safely on a pipeline right away. And surveyors were looking at it from the perspective of, that's absolutely true. Those of us who do know this information should receive a premium for being on the pipeline, because we're not only bringing the expertise of survey work, but we're bringing a level of understanding of what it means to stay safe, to keep my coworkers safe, to manage everything from corporate requirements to efficiencies in gathering data. And interestingly, the owner operators that were part of the conversation agreed. They were like, yeah, you guys probably should get a premium for that. The problem is that there's not enough of you out there. And we recognize the fact that there probably should be surveyors who understand some of the unique aspects of pipeline survey, because it's only going to help our projects be more efficient, be safer, ultimately more effective. And since 2016, the issue has only been exacerbated, because in the interim, and Wayne will probably jump into this a little bit, but in the interim, PHMSA, the Federal Department of Transportation's Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration promulgated regulations that increase the requirements of collecting and verifying data on pipeline owner operators as they develop these pipelines. And the first people that owner operators are going to look to to meet those federal regulations of collecting and storing and transmitting data are the surveyors, because those are the guys who are collecting the data. And the more a surveyor knows not only about, how to be safe on a pipeline, but also these traceable, verifiable, and complete requirements that the new regulations have, again, the better off the owner operator's project is going to be, the more valuable the surveyor is going to be. And so with all of that in mind, the question became, how does an association provide that information? And how do we get people to join the association to help spread the word of what's available? And what we came up with was a series of classes that started a very basic, pipeline 101, and go all the way through a 203 course that gets into the real nitty gritty of as-built surveys and pretty much everything in between. The courses are available online to be downloaded right now at pipelinesurveyors.org. They're all at a discount now. And our thinking was that even for surveyors who have no real intent of becoming a pipeline surveyor, the information is relevant to survey and is acceptable, as far as we know, in all 50 states as continuing education credits. So, you could take any one of the courses you'd like. Our format would record that you've completed the course and provide you with the necessary information to submit it to your state agency or association for continuing education credits. For folks who wanted to actually go all the way through our courses and become certified by APPS as a pipeline or pipeline surveyor, it's an industry certification. It's not a legal license of any sort, but a knowledge-based certification. You would pass 101 through 103, take 101 through 103, and then pass 201 through 203. And we do have a handful of folks that are taking that course, that path all the way through 203. In addition to online courses, we teach the same courses when possible. COVID sort of threw us a curveball, but when possible at the state association gatherings, New Jersey, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Ohio. We've been out east for the most part. Seems like you guys have a contingent in the Midwest and out west. But that was the genesis of all of this. It was an interesting combination of pipeline owner operators and surveyors identifying the same workforce issue and coming up with a solution on how to meet that issue. And we spent quite a bit of time with subject matter experts developing each of the courses, putting it into course application software, which is part of our learning management system. And here we are. The last major step we took was back in the fall of 2021. We were granted $100,000 chunk of change from PHMSA to promote and further develop the courses. And that's what we're in the process of doing. And that's why we're very glad to be with you, Trent. Appreciate your time very much.
Yeah, that's awesome. I threw the website in the chat so everybody can kind of jump on.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I was asking Wayne earlier about how many members do you guys have currently? I know it's just kind of getting going and it's, slow ball, but
there are 12.
Okay.
And it's a combination of survey firms and owner operators. So, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Now, you don't have to be a member to take the course. So we have a lot of folks that are taking the course but aren't members. If you are a member, there's a discount, but you don't need to be a member to take the courses.
Got it. That's awesome.
A lot of folks that are in our in-person classes in New Jersey or wherever, not members, but obviously taking the course. So.
Got it. Is there individual state associations as well for pipeline?
We do not have chapter or affiliates yet. It's definitely something that I've been involved with in other associations in developing, that sort of structure. But right now, we don't have that critical mass. We've done quite a bit of outreach, like I said, in some of the Eastern Seaboard states, and we know we need to focus on places like Tulsa, Oklahoma and Texas. And as we progress, that's definitely part of the plan if we get there.
Yeah. So some of the presentations that you talk about, you're going to like traditional state surveying society associations, jumping
Correct.
on in their conferences. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, I love it. Always nice to cross-populate between different professions.
Yeah, it's been a real education for me,
Yeah.
especially not being a surveyor, and it's been kind of a thrill as well. I mean, I enjoy the folks who attend. There's a camaraderie there that I like. Pretty laid back compared to some of the other folks that I have to deal with sometimes. And yeah, like I said, it's been an educational experience just with regards to everything from, you know, the technology to some of the very basics of what it takes to get from point A to point B to survey a right of way that's in the middle of nowhere. You know, there's some pretty tough guys out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know part of your bio that I didn't read, you're heavily involved with workforce development. Is that kind of a little bit of the background to some of these
Yeah.
workforce development? Yeah.
I was in the mid 90s, I worked on Capitol Hill. I was majority counsel for a Senate subcommittee that developed the Workforce Investment Act. This was of 1998, so I'm dating myself a little bit. But that process and the communities that I engaged in developing that statute, which has since been reauthorized, has really sort of paved a path for me. So any of the associations that I deal with all have either a workforce development or an economic development angle to them. And a lot of it goes back to the job training and the need for job training that I was introduced to, you know, back in the 90s. It's funny, the more things change, the more they stay the same, but there are all kinds of strategies that people can employ and further with regards to workforce development. But it's really, it all comes down to identifying the skill set and matching the skill set with the need in the community. And in a big way, that's kind of what we've done here. I mean, we've identified a skill set and we've identified a community that needs that skill set. We've developed the training for it, and now it's just a question of connecting the dots.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you, just by numbers, do you know about how many surveyors are associated with just pipeline surveying as an industry? You know, is there 1,000, 5,000? Yeah, John, look at John. I'm just
Yeah.
curious. I'm curious how, you know, what kind of size, how many pipeline surveyors are out there?
6 years ago, yes, a high number. With the current state of really no large projects going,
Yeah.
it's kind of been the same land development, everything goes. And I think right now we're more on there's a lot of smaller projects, O&M projects going, but it doesn't require the workforce. Back 2 years ago, I had 70, 80 crews on pipeline.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And now I'm in Illinois doing a job by myself.
How times have changed. That's crazy.
They're going to change. They're going to change again, though.
Oh,
I
of
mean,
course.
it is
Yeah, it's very
yeah.
cyclical. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Understood.
so-
Ebb and flow.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Of course. Wayne, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. I didn't know if I was giving you some time.
Where are you taking
What
us?
I'm get-
You going to start at 101 or where are you going with it? Where are we at?
I'm gonna go over all. First off, welcome to the app's coursework overview. And again, Trent, thanks for having us
Yeah, no,
here.
of course.
I'm gonna cover all 6 courses and their corresponding topics, and then do a small sample of each one of the topics there. I got about 4 pages of notes here that should be able to get through it pretty quick here. But
Oh, you're fine.
again, pardon me?
I said you're fine on time. Yeah, no worries.
As Aaron had mentioned earlier, this coursework, we are not teaching surveyors how to survey. Merely basically 100% of the information in the coursework is what is required to satisfy Federal Energy Regulatory Commission's certificate to build a regulated pipeline. And with that, I'll get started here. Let me get my share my screen here. Bear with me, Trent. I'm
No, you're
very
fine.
new at this stuff, man.
Should be at the, I was gonna say, it should be at the bottom.
I'm not as good as Aaron at this stuff. Can you see that now?
Yep.
Yes,
you're
sir.
here. Yep.
What'd I do? Sorry about that.
Oh, we got your screen. It's fine.
I lost it though.
Oh, you lost it on your side. Okay. If you could probably go to the top, viewing, there's viewing options, or you can stop sharing, so you can maybe start over there.
I got to get out of this live demo here, this Zoom live demo thing.
Let me, I can do that. Let's see if that, I was able to stop sharing your screen, see if that takes you back to another.
Trina, looks like you got 13 on the line. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we have 13 tonight. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I noticed this month we've kind of tailed off on viewership, but just busy time. Everybody, like to say, I mean, I see, you know, on social media, some schools are just kind of just starting their summer vacations now. So it's,
Yeah.
we here in Nevada, we got out before Memorial Day. Now we used to get out like the week and a half after Memorial Day, but they've started earlier and now we get out before Memorial Day. So it's yeah, changes quite often now. So I noticed that kind of all across the country, different times. That work any better for you, Wayne?
Yeah, you see it?
Yeah, we see your screen. Yeah, shows course 101.
Okay, well, all right, I'll get going here. Course 101 pipeline. It contains 5 topics spread out over 100 pages, and the live presentation would take about 4 hours.
Okay.
First thing, general awareness. It addresses the pipeline industry's purpose, its classifications, and its design parameters. Pipeline infrastructure. The United States has an integrated pipeline network of about 3 million miles of mainline and other pipelines that link production areas and storage facilities with consumers. Operation facilities include compression, metering, and regulating stations. In 2018, the United States Natural Gas Transportation Network delivered 28 trillion cubic feet of gas to about 75 million customers. So therefore, you can see how big the industry is. That was 2018. I'm sure it's grown a lot more since then. The order of things. The order of things, A to Z, is defined as a pipeline's preliminary survey, its design, its permitting, construction layout and stakeout, the pipeline as-built survey, and the pipeline construction restoration. Landowner relationships. Landowner relationships, we cover the brownfield projects and greenfield projects, private property, surveying private property, and the project's line list stipulations regarding ingress, egress, contacts, and communications channels. Private sector cultural realities covers the pipeline owner-operator contracts, pipeline project scope, safety policies and procedures, and the owner-operator's data management systems. Moving on to course 102 regulation, it contains 18 topics spread out over 85 pages, and a live presentation of 102 takes 4 hours as well. This one will be short here. Title 49, Transportation, Code of Federal Regulations, CFR, Parts 192.3 through 192.903. The Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, PHMSA for short, DOT. The PHMSA's final rule, which was dated October 1st, 2019 for pipeline safety, safety of gas transmission, pipelines, MAOP reconfirmation and expansion of assessment requirements and other related amendments. Remember that MAOP, we're going to come full circle on it when we get to the end, the importance of that. It also, the final rule also includes the pipeline materials tested and installed, it's traceable, verifiable, and complete TVC records information. Moving on to course 103, safety. 103 safety contains 5 topics spread out over 70 pages, and a live presentation of safety covers 4 hours as well. Pre-employment safety requirements.
There you go.
There we go.
Yep, now you caught it.
I'm new at this, man.
That's okay. You're good. I like it.
Pre-employment safety requirements. Industry pre-employment safety measures are very strict. Minimum requirements are drug and alcohol testing and criminal background checks. Pre-work safety requirements. Owner operators require personal protective equipment, PPE, operator qualifications, OQ, OSHA 10, and employer-specific safety training courses. Number 3, personal health and safety. We cover appropriate dress clothing for cold weather and hot weather, including preventive measures for hypothermia and heat stroke. Number 4, project routing and preliminary survey safety. Covers cutting utensils, machetes, and bush axes, and first aid kits for cuts, bruises, bites, and allergenic noxious plants. The 5th topic of 103 safety is construction stakeout and as-built survey safety. Includes heavy equipment operation, trenching and excavation, hot work and live lines, fire extinguishers and gas detectors, X-ray and hydro testing flagged areas. Moving on now to the course 201, the preliminary survey. This one's a brood. It contains 15 topics spread out over 118 pages, and a live presentation of 201 lasts for 8 hours to cover everything. There's our 15 topics. Survey data collection. We go over the owner operator's data management system, and most importantly, there's the survey feature code library. Each owner operator sometimes has their own proprietary feature code library, etc. The survey control network, state plane coordinate systems, datums, NAD 83, NGVD 88, WGS 84, and the National Geodetic Survey's online position user system, OPUS's process and data sheet. Project photogrammetry. We cover the aerial photography flight line, whether to use photo ID points, aerial panels, and go over the planimetrics derived from said aerial photography. Number 4, project pipeline routing. Brownfield routing, which includes encumbered tracks, greenfield routing, non-encumbered tracks, obstacles, side slopes, parallel water bodies, and environmental sensitive areas. Number 5, the project line list. Lists the number of tracks, landowners, ingress, egress stipulations, contacts, and communication channels. The preliminary survey line list and the construction line list, they have a lot more data involved on here, but these are just some of the high points I highlighted. Number 6, the FERC regulated pipeline. Number 6 and 7 is separated because of being a regulated pipeline. We have the power of eminent domain. Non-regulated pipelines up to a certain point do not have the power of eminent domain, so the boundary work differs considerably here. So number 6, FERC regulated pipeline, title research, boundary line analysis and determination, easement acquisition drawings, certified easement acquisition drawings, and applicable state-specific certified condemnation plats. Number 7, a non-regulated pipeline. Title research, boundary line analysis and determination, easement exhibit drawings, and option agreements. Moving on to number 8, operator pipelines and facilities. Go over the operator's GIS pipeline alignment sheets, operators compression, metering, regulation, and valve site facilities plan and profile drawings. Number 9, federal, state, county, and local permits. Jurisdictions required major minor road crossings, plan and profile permit drawings, including privately owned railroad crossing, plan and profile permit drawings. Number 10, pipeline class location study. A pipeline's class 1, 2, 3, or 4 location survey determines a pipeline's design parameters. Number 11, environmental resource permits. Jurisdictions required water bodies and wetlands plan and profile drawings, soil erosion and sedimentation SESP plans, including the environmental impact study report, EIS. Threatened and endangered species permits. Again, it's jurisdictions required T&E species plan drawings and T&E report. 13, cultural resource reports. Again, it's the jurisdictions required cultural resources plan, drawings, and cultural resource report. Number 14, construction access permits, permanent facilities and temporary construction access roads acquisition drawings. I would note permanent facility access roads may require certified acquisition drawings from time to time. Last one, number 15 on 201, foreign pipelines and utilities. APPS supports the American Public Works Association APWA utility flagging guidelines, including all operator specific flagging guidelines. I believe, Josh, you're a pipeliner. It's taken a long time to get everybody in agreement to use the APWA flagging guidelines.
Oh, yes, it has.
You know,
And there's still people not in agreement 100%.
mhm. That is a critical part of pipeline surveying, is everybody using the same, because I've gone up this was years and years ago though, you would go out and there'd be a pipeline stake with blue flagging when blue is for water lines, not dangerous hot lines, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to course 202, construction. It contains 7 topics spread out over 33 pages, and a live presentation of this one will only take 2 hours. This is our shortest one. Again, the survey control network would be the use for the preliminary survey, the aerial photography and the preliminary survey. You would be on refresh and utilize the same network for the construction layout staking, including the as-built survey. The construction, sorry about that, guys.
You're good.
Construction line list, again, list the landowners, the ingress, egress, construction stipulations, contacts, and communication channels. And the preliminary line list we had talked about before, and the construction line list, they are updated on a daily, or weekly, if not daily basis, to keep everybody on the project in tune with what's going on out there. Number 3, the construction alignment sheets contains the aerial graphics, the ownership band, the DOT class location band, the design factor, material stationing, special construction, the symbols legend, and drawing references. Number 4, the construction stakeout plan. It basically has the same information the alignment sheet does, but this one shows the limits of disturbance / workspace, access roads, the proposed pipeline, all class location material changes, including road, water body, and wetland crossings. The facility stakeout plan also shows the limits of disturbance, workspace, access roads, facility pipe runs, launchers, receivers, interconnects, crossovers, and valve site assemblies. Number 6, the environmental stakeout plan also shows the limits of disturbance / workspace, the environmental sensitive areas, wetland and water body crossings. And finally, number 7, the boundary line stakeout plan shows the property lines, easements, rights of way, and monumentation. And last but certainly not least, course 203, the as-built survey. It contains 6 topics spread out over 56 pages, and live presentation would require 4 hours as well. Number 1, the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration. PHMSA was established on November 20th, 2004 to ensure the safe and secure movement and transportation of hazardous materials, which includes natural gas pipelines. Number 2, pipe material properties and attributes is defined as the steel specification, the coating specification, and the procurement specification. Number 3, pipe material test report, also known as MTR, is a certified record of a material's physical and chemical properties, usually referenced by heat numbers and/or heat codes. Number 4, the pipeline as-built survey. It requires survey grade 3D positions at all girth wells, points of intersection, PIs, in the horizontal plane, and pipe overbends and pipe sags in the vertical plane. Number 5, the as-built survey report includes the point number, the feature codes with attributes, 3D positions, horizontal station, slope station, pipe number, heat number, MTR number, and X-ray number. All of those numbers, the way we tie, that's how, with the X-ray number and the MTR number, that's how you tie the survey data sets to the inspectors, the welding inspectors and the coating inspectors reports. It's how you tie the two together. And last, the operator standards, or proprietary geographic information and pipeline open database standards. And below that, we've got PHMSA requires owner operators to validate their assets MAOP for each segment of pipeline. Records information shall be traceable, verifiable, and complete. And MAOP stands for maximum allowable operating pressures. And one final note, going back to the PHMSA final rule. The PHMSA final rule is 77 pages long. It's with 3 columns of text on each page. And on 27 of those pages, traceable, verifiable, and complete is referenced or mentioned 63 times. So that's why we emphasize that final rule. That is the change. And going back to earlier, we said there are about 3 million miles of mainline and other pipelines. And Aaron, you can chime in on this. I think that under the new final rule, PHMSA is going to add another 425,000 miles of midstream and gathering type lines to the regulated spectrum. Is that correct, Aaron?
You snuck out on you. Probably on the phone.
Yeah.
Of those, so just of those 3 million miles, about how many of those do you think are mapped?
Are mapped?
Yeah. Is it, mapped and located in
I
that space.
I would have no idea. The operator that I worked for 39 years, because I was on the regulated side continuously for that timeline, we really surveyed and mapped our pipelines, right? But under the new final rule mandate, it's my understanding that these operators are they're really working hard now to bring their legacy pipeline information up to speed, if you will. Okay. And it's, you know, in talking to a lot of the guys, a lot of companies in the industry, that's harder said than done, so to speak. You know, because back in the old days, I mean, they just, you know, threw them in the ground and covered them up. And once it's buried, man, you know, you tend to forget about it real fast.
Yeah, no kidding. The amount of data that you just went over is impressive. And how much time did you guys spend putting all of that stuff together, and who helped you guys put all that together? What kind of industry partners, or, you know, was it all just
Actually
board members?
I wrote every one of them.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It took, you know, I mean, I paced myself working with Aaron. I created this, and then Aaron, he learned a software called Articulate, and he created the online courses based on these PowerPoint presentations that I created.
Okay.
I mean, we had input from the entire board of directors on information to put in there, you know, but to be concise in everything, you know, one person needed to do it, just like Aaron, you know, he put all the online coursework together based on it. But all 6 courses contain basically 462 pages of information.
Yeah. Wow. Good for you. Great job. Holy moly.
I'm glad you like it, Trent.
No, that's impressive. Well, because I'm from this, you know, the technical side of things, where we want to help and grow an industry, right? And teach the next generation. So, you know, to have it on this type of format, and for people to just kind of, you know, in this instance, somebody like most of the pipeliners, right, are in their hotel rooms at the end of the night after a shift or whatever. I mean, this is perfect to log on and do a session and watch it for an hour and a half or whatever. So the platform is phenomenal. That is cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was just going to say, we met routinely over about at least 18 months with a core group of subject matter experts, both surveyors and pipeline owner operators. And it was all at Wayne's office, and Wayne was definitely the tip of the spear on all of it. And it all passed through him for sure. But we definitely had a pretty good cross section of the industry weighing in on certain aspects of the information, and importantly, how it should be presented.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. Josh, what are your thoughts on that? You being a
that's what I was going to ask you.
Pipeline surveyor.
I like the theory that my problem in life is there's too many pipeline surveyors that don't know how to survey, and there's too many pipeline surveyors that don't understand the pipeline side. So I like the fact of creating training to get people up to speed on the stuff that'll kill you, and the important stuff for why we're doing what we're doing.
That was
versus the law.
That was a big part of that was a big part of our pitch to PHMSA. And they said, yeah, we like it when people don't die on pipelines. So we're going to give you 100,000, and it'd be great if you could, you know, help educate people as to, you know, what a hot tap is and why you stay away from it. So that's a big reason the owner operators are interested in it too.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I felt like an outsider. I mean, you know, surveyors have their own language that we speak, but I listening to Wayne talk about, you know, a lot of different things. I felt like one of those outsiders listening to surveyors talk, because there's so many so many words, and, you know, so many different slang words, and the same stuff, like hot pad, right? Or what is that? So that's something.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I can only imagine, Aaron. I can only imagine.
I would like to add that you know, the preliminary, the 203 is where the rubber meets the road in satisfying the PHMSA requirements for the owner operators. And I would encourage everybody to take 203 because, man, we go into the material properties and attributes for every component used in a pipeline, and it's massive, you know. I'm surprised that we got it in on 56 pages, you know, but it's really where the rubber meets the road in meeting the compliance mandates there, 203.
Yeah, I can imagine. George had threw in the chat about locating the welds, and you know, that's something we still do here for our local Southwest Gas. When we put in any kind of their stuff, we always have to be required to go back out and shoot every X-ray as well. So yeah, it's something been going on for the last 50 years, right? Pretty much the only way to kind of inventory every one of those.
Right. Everything on a pipeline to meet the compliance takes place at the girth weld. When you take that shot point on that weld, that data collector feature code library prompts you for the information to load in upstream and load in downstream. And then you go to the next weld, exact same, you load in the information upstream, and there's your cross check, what you just put, what you just recorded downstream on the upstream weld and what you're recording upstream on the downstream well. That's a bit of tongue tied right there.
Yeah, it is.
And Josh will understand this. Sometimes a surveyor, he gets turned around, you know, they always got to be walking and surveying in the right direction, either working from upstream to downstream or vice versa. Right, Josh?
Yeah, I wrapped up a 90-mile project in Jacksonville, Florida, and the inspectors did not know upstream from downstream, so they had reversed everything we as built it.
Oh wow!
And obviously, survey screws up. It's never anybody else survey. So I was able to pull out all the pictures of all the welds and everything we did and go, "You hired village idiots to be inspectors. It's a personal problem. I'll fix it for you if you want, but we're right, they're wrong. So deal with the inspection service." And it's just it's very chaotic with the new specs. Just from a feature code file aspect, I'm running about 17 different feature code files because each of my utilities has a different back end they're feeding it into.
God bless
They're
you,
really
man,
almost all the same. They're almost all the same, but essentially I'll meet with their GIS group, get their schema, and then I'll build the feature code file for them. And I'm trying to convince the utilities that we do our prelims and everything in the same feature code file and take all this damn data you're paying for and use it. All the SUE work, all the utility crossings, all the data we pick up on the front end, you guys just throw it away, and you wonder when you do a repair job or something, you hit a water line, why you didn't know there's a water line there. I'm like, well, I surveyed it 2 years ago. What the hell?
Yeah.
So it's been that, and if we can get them to start paying, that's the problem in Illinois right now is there are a bunch of specific pipeline mainly firms that don't have the registered surveyors in place, and they're not actually tying sections down and doing the front end work correctly. But I can't compete against $1 a foot company. I mean, they're offering preliminary survey and boundary for $1 a linear foot.
That's not a regulated pipeline, though, is it? It can't be, I wouldn't think.
No, that's the thing. Well, even like with Southern Company, AGL, we have rights of condemnation, but we're regulated by the PSC, but not regulated by FERC. And because we have a PSC, there are PHMSA pipeline safety people. And they're getting a little bit more involved now, which is great. Whereas with Illinois, it's just wild, wild west still. I mean, Southern Company owns Nicor Gas, AGL, Virginia Natural. All three operating companies have different standards and different rules, but it's the same parent company of all of them.
Okay. It's for
just
the
crazy.
midstream gathering side on the Marcellus Shale. And
Yeah.
it's like the wild, wild west. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
best term for it. It's just blow and go, you know, and
Yeah. I mean, I spent 2 years in Midland. It's okay. It's as fast as you can go, as hard as you can go, 7 days a week.
Crazy.
I mean, they just got where they lay lines on the ground. They do plastic HDPE and they just lay them on the surface. They don't even bury them anymore.
That's crazy. Well, this was great stuff, and I hopefully we can kind of, you know, push this out as much as we can for you, Wayne, as well, and you know, share it as much as we can on social media, and you guys can obviously use it to share on your side as well. But just great job putting that material together. I have to, and I saw, you know, got a nice discounted rate on there right now. I threw the link in the chat to all the different courses as well, but and I'll make sure I share those links when we send it out too. But
You're a good man, Trent.
Appreciate
We
your help.
appreciate your time very much. Thank you for
Yeah.
this opportunity.
oh, this was awesome. I love it. Anybody got specific questions they want to talk about? Everybody quiet. Nothing. I'll put you, Wayne and Aaron and Josh. I'll put you guys all in an email together, Josh, just since you're a big help probably for Wayne and Aaron. So I'll just do a quick email to you guys. So
Yeah,
Thank you for
yeah,
that.
that'll work. I'll help however I can help.
yeah. Pick up a new member. Awesome. Well, I appreciate everybody's
The
time.
key is getting. Yep, the key is just getting everybody up to speed and doing it safely. It benefits everybody, not just the operators or the surveyor in the field. It benefits everybody.
Yeah.
If we can have less incidences, it's just gonna be better for everybody.
Totally understand that. Lots of bodies working in somewhat tight quarters, you know, just a pipeline quarter, right? Being tight quarters. So
yeah,
you know, it's stretched over hundreds of miles, but yeah, that's good stuff. So awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys' time. I know it's kind of getting late for you guys on the East Coast, so I have a good week, and we'll chat next time. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Yep.
Aaron. Thanks,
Have a
Wayne.
good night. Take care.
See you.